Is there a connection between retroactive jealousy, i.e. intrusive thoughts about your partner's past, and religion? That's the question I'm going to be answering in today's video. My name is Zachary Stockill, and since 2013, I've helped thousands of men and women from all over the world overcome retroactive jealousy and save their relationships. If you'd like more information about my work, you can visit my website at retroactivejealousy.com. For the people here for the first time, the term retroactive jealousy refers to unwanted intrusive thoughts, often obsessive curiosity, and what I like to call mental movies about your partner's past relationships and or sexual/dating history. You can suffer from one of those symptoms, you can suffer from all three, but in a nutshell, that's retroactive jealousy. And a question I receive on a regular basis goes along the lines of, is there a connection between retroactive jealousy and someone's religious background? And my answer, which is probably annoying to some of you, but my answer is it's complicated. The short version is sometimes I think there is a connection, but certainly not always. Let me explain. So over the years, since 2013, again, I've worked with thousands of retroactive jealousy sufferers from around the world. I've worked with hundreds of these people one-on-one in depth. And I would say probably somewhere around 30 or 40% of these people who come to me who are struggling with retroactive jealousy are from what I would consider a fairly conservative religious background. These are often Muslim people, sometimes from places like the UAE or Lebanon, places like that. I also work with a lot of conservative Hindus based in America, UK, and sometimes India. I've also worked with a number of conservative Christians, mainly in the US over the years. So in those cases, of course, everyone's different, but I think that their conservative religious background plays into their experience of retroactive jealousy, at least to some extent. Because retroactive jealousy is often at least a partial byproduct of someone's values. And quite often, our values can be shaped by our childhood and early upbringing, and often our religious background or our religious values. Now, some of our religious background or some of our religious values could have been imparted to us at a very young age. I often tell people that it's a very good idea to start to get a handle on where your values, where your beliefs actually came from. So did they come from your parents? Are they coming from your social circle? Are they coming from your friends? Did they come from your high school to some extent? Did they come from your religious education or your religious household that maybe you grew up in? Now, to be absolutely clear, religion is a very personal matter, and needless to say, it's certainly not my place to tell anyone that they should change their religion or that anything like that. And that's certainly not my goal in today's video. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. But if you're asking the question, is my experience of retroactive jealousy in some ways tied to my religious beliefs? The answer is probably yes. And I think it's a very good idea to start to get a handle on where your religious beliefs are coming from, and crucially, whether or not they are actually serving you. Again, to be very clear, I am not saying that you or anyone watching this video should necessarily discard their religious beliefs. But I think it's a very good idea to, at the very least, question where they came from and question whether or not they're actually working for you moving forward. There are some people who believe that every experience of retroactive jealousy is informed or at least colored by someone's religious beliefs. For example, a lot of Catholic people grow up with very strict ideas about sex and morality and virginity and all these things. A lot of Hindus are similar, a lot of Muslims are similar. A lot of people grow up with very conservative religious beliefs. And thus, it follows that maybe they're going to struggle with retroactive jealousy when they're older because it's the year 2024 and obviously a lot of people are having sex before marriage and all of these things. However, retroactive jealousy is certainly not always a product of religious beliefs. I mean, I didn't grow up in a particularly religious household. I don't have particularly strong religious beliefs. And once upon a time, I still struggled with this very weird disorder. And again, I would say anywhere between 60 and 70% of the clients that I work with one-on-one do not have strong religious beliefs, did not grow up in a particularly conservative religious household, did not receive any formal religious training. So if you think that retroactive jealousy is all a consequence of your religious beliefs, that's probably not true. Sometimes I believe retroactive jealousy is more or less 100% irrational. In other words, there are no actual conflicts in values between you and your partner. There's a lot of smoke maybe, but there's no actual fire with regards to your partner's past. In other words, it isn't really important. your partner's past doesn't have any glaring red flags that you should be concerned about, yada, yada, yada. I think a lot of the time retroactive jealousy is more or less purely irrational. However, if you're struggling with more values-based retroactive jealousy, what I call values-based retroactive jealousy, in other words, you think there could be some serious conflicts in values between you and your partner, those could be a partial consequence of your religious beliefs. But again, a lot of the people I work with have these conflicts in values, or at least they imagine that there could be a gulf between their values and their partner, but religion has nothing to do with it. So I would say beware of anyone trying to tell you that retroactive jealousy is always about religion, or that it's all about religion, because that's certainly not the case. For many people, their values may come from their religion or their religious background in part, but your values don't come from one source generally. They can come, again, from things like your school, your education, your parents, your family, your friends, social media, your social environment, and on and on. And again, whether you're religious or not, I think it's a very good idea to get a handle on where your values are either coming from or where they came from, and whether or not they're working for you moving forward. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you benefited from this video, please take a moment to let me know by clicking the like button below. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and while you're at it, please be sure you subscribe to my channel as well to be notified of more new videos moving forward. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you again soon.